we talked about profit, or you can say money, and ethics. And would you have a company where there is no company? Can you talk about business ethics when there is no company? Now I have these crazy questions in my mind. And I'm sure many people have been bothered by these questions in the past. So we can't solve such an important issue in 40 minutes. But the presence of the company was to generate maximum profit for the stakeholders. And we had that in corporate governance. And then global companies, I think 2 decades ago, the definition of the existence, the reason of existence of the company in corporate governance. They said, wait a second, this profiting is great, but you need to serve your customers well. You need to invest in your employees, and you need to do ethical business with your suppliers, and you need to contribute to the society you're living in. And number 5, it's in the 5th priority, in the long term, you need to generate money for your investors, for your shareholders. So look at where it has evolved. I think this is a serious transformation. I'm sure we are going to talk about ESG, and investor philosophy's evolution will also be discussed, investor ethics, that is. So is there a dilemma? Is there a conflict between ethics and profit? Would there be a synergy there? Would one mean sacrificing the other or dispensing of the other? This is what we will discuss in this panel. And so the people who think about this have faced many a bad experience, and that's why they have come to this. So the white collars in the biggest company in the world, they were carrying bribes in bags, increasing their bonuses and to make their company more profitable for the investors, or they have been subjected to one of the biggest FCPA penalties. And the Wirecards, they had $2 billion in a fictitious way with an ambition to profit, and they went bankrupt. I wish this profit and ethic, I wish it was a matter of loss of money, but you can see worse things. For example, with the there are certain investors who are in greed for profit, and they can destroy forests in a bad collaboration. A step further now. The Western companies, the Western world, was buying textiles from a building in Bangladesh, and over 1,134 workers died in Bangladesh because the building collapsed. Look where the greed takes us. Don't go far away. Come to Turkey. Those who die in the mines, or most recent and saddest of all, the earthquake. 53,000 citizens have died. This might not be the entire reason, but from construction, iron, labor, if you steal from that, and if you do that with the support of the public, with bad collaborations, we have lost many citizens. So it is beyond money. There are souls perished, you know. So this is my introduction, with your permission. Now, I will ask a direct question, and I want this to be a sincere and warm chat. Where are you as the management? When the company is founded on paper, it doesn't say this company is ethical. It is built by law, according whichever law. Whichever jurisdiction is determining you, whichever country you are in, it is those rules, those laws that you need to comply with. So being ethical, to begin with, it begins with the founding partners, and then them and the management board, the board of directors, and the employees who are in managerial contact, their contact and their communication and their stances determine this. You know, companies are institutions, but we are individuals, and there are personal companies, individual-owned companies. So as a company on your own, as your own person, you can also display and demonstrate ethical behavior. And because they are legal persons, the entities and institutions, they are no different from an individual company. So whoever is running it, whoever is carrying out activities, whoever is generating profitability, whoever is growing it, it has to do with them, human beings. So those individuals, if they have that ethical perception, if they have those human stance, and if you're choosing them, preferring them in your recruitment, employment, and if you're training them that way, then you do create anyway a culture of ethics. So the existence of a company is, of course, it's a gain. You know, you're building the company to make revenues. Of course, the non-profit organizations, I'm addressing them separately because their scope is different, their rules, their laws are different. Of course, they are run differently. But at the end of the day, you do want to make money. Why are we working? What are we doing, you know? We need to we are trying to maintain our lives. Honest earning. You know what makes us a human being? Good, ethical, moral human beings. At the end of the day, we are responsible for ourselves. So with this definition, all our colleagues, all our stakeholders, if we share the same thoughts and if we meet at a common thinking platform, then we are running and directing and steering that company together to be ethical. If you say the ethical difference, a stance is different, when you're thinking of short-term profit, you talked about board of directors or the executive committee, they are making a decision and then the ethics steps in, or it does not, yeah. So ethics needs to step on the stage, but what does it bring you? Because at that moment, as a target-driven individual, you're standing against and facing against a management that is forging ahead to make profit only. So what you're trying to show them that this is about 360 degrees topic, you know, what they cannot see, what the board cannot see, what they can abstain from seeing, you know. This remains outside their point of view. You're showing them those risks. You tell them, you make this investment, you're right, 6 months later you will profit by X amount, but these are the risks that you're taking, and if you do take those risks, these are the threats, these are the things that you could lose. So it's going to be a bit of a philosophical, but this intellectual structure, this way of thinking, you shouldn't think of it as ethics only. Why do we have internal control? Why do we have internal audits? You know, the processes, you know, the decision-making mechanisms, you ensure their buy-in, so you make their decision-making platform clean in order to ensure that they can make the right decisions.
He would say, may God never take your reputation from you. Well, 100% agree. There are so many examples. This is not our personal opinion. So we don't need to choose between these two. If you achieve an optimum equilibrium, this is what is feasible, what the stakeholders are asking for, or the market balances. But more important than everything, long-term actions and long-term values shall be invested in. Innovative. If there is no innovation, ethics in the long term is rather difficult. You need to do something de novo. I need to underline that. We need to have innovative companies, and I think that's going to be the solution. Mantesh, three great pass or ball, he said, you said. Together we're stronger. If you know me very well. I always make a reference to Pink Floyd because everyone sings, but what they do is something else. So, united we stand, divided we fall.